There is always one person in the room who talks the most. They speak quickly. They fill every pause. They jump into conversations before they are invited. And there is always another person, the one who listens, the one who waits, the one who speaks last, or barely at all. Strangely, the second person often holds more power, not because they are louder, not because they dominate the conversation, but because they understand something most people never learn. Silence is not empty. Silence is tension. Silence is pressure. Silence is information that has not yet been revealed. And unrevealed information creates psychological weight. When someone refuses to rush their words, refuses to react instantly, refuses to compete for attention, something shifts in the room. Energy changes. Voices slow down. People begin to watch more carefully, because silence forces others to become aware of themselves. When someone is quiet, you start questioning yourself. Did I say too much? Did I reveal something I shouldn't have? Do they disagree? Are they judging me? Silence moves evaluation. Instead of you being evaluated, others begin evaluating themselves. And whoever controls evaluation controls perception. And whoever controls perception controls hierarchy. Tonight, we are breaking down the mechanics of silent dominance. Not personality, not introversion, but control. Most people are taught that visibility equals strength. If you speak often, you appear confident. If you react quickly, you appear sharp. If you dominate discussion, you appear powerful. But in high-level environments, the dynamic reverses. Constant talking is exposure. Every sentence gives away something. It reveals how emotionally invested you are. It reveals how badly you want approval. It reveals how much you need to be understood. When someone rushes to explain themselves, they unconsciously signal insecurity. High-status individuals assume they will be understood. They do not chase validation. They do not over-explain. They allow ambiguity to exist. Ambiguity creates tension. Tension creates attention. And attention increases perceived importance. When someone talks nonstop, you relax. You can predict them. You understand them. You feel safe. But when someone speaks minimally and calmly, you lean forward. You observe. You try to decode. Silence shifts effort. The loud person works to be heard. The silent person makes others work to understand. And the one who makes others invest effort controls influence. Information given freely loses value. Information withheld gains gravity. And gravity attracts attention. Silence becomes most powerful in moments of pressure. Imagine negotiation. One person explains their offer in detail. They justify, they clarify, they defend, they rush to eliminate doubt before it appears. The other person listens. No interruption, no immediate response. Then comes the pause. The silence stretches. The person who spoke first begins to feel exposed. They start speaking again. They adjust their offer. They lower expectations. They reveal insecurity. Because silence creates psychological tension. Humans crave feedback. We want reassurance that we are safe. When silence replaces feedback, uncertainty grows, and uncertainty creates pressure. The individual who can tolerate silence without reacting demonstrates emotional control, and emotional control signals strength. The pause is not empty. The pause is leverage, and leverage shapes outcomes. There is a reason silence feels heavy. It is not because nothing is happening. It is because too much is happening internally. When conversation flows normally, people feel safe. There is rhythm. There is feedback. There is constant reassurance that everything is fine. But silence removes reassurance. And when reassurance disappears, the brain switches into analysis mode. Why are they quiet? Did I say something wrong? Are they judging me? Do they disagree? Silence activates insecurity. It forces the other person to fill the gap with their own thoughts. And most human thoughts, when left alone, drift towards self-doubt. When someone keeps talking, you relax. But when someone listens deeply without reacting, you begin monitoring yourself. You become hyper-aware. You start correcting yourself mid-sentence. You adjust your tone. You try to read their face. You try to predict their thoughts. Silence creates a symmetry. One person becomes the observer. The other becomes the performer. And the observer always holds more control, because the performer is trying, and the one who is trying is always lower in hierarchy. Silence also removes emotional cues. If someone laughs quickly, you feel validated. If someone nods constantly, you feel supported. But if someone remains still and quiet, you lose emotional direction. And humans dislike emotional uncertainty. Uncertainty creates psychological tension, and tension makes people vulnerable. The quiet person does not need to attack. They do not need to dominate. They simply allow tension to exist. And most people collapse under tension. They overshare. They confess. They reveal weaknesses. They give away information. All because silence made them uncomfortable. This is why interrogators use silence. This is why experienced negotiators use silence. This is why high-status individuals do not rush to fill gaps. They understand that silence makes others speak more, and whoever speaks more reveals more, and whoever reveals more loses leverage. Silence is not passive. Silence is pressure applied without movement, and pressure without movement is dominance. There is a concept rarely discussed in social psychology: presence, not charisma, not humor, not dominance. Presence. Presence is the ability to exist in a space without needing to modify yourself to fit it. Most people constantly adjust. They change tone. They adjust posture. They speed up speech. They laugh at jokes they don't find funny. They mirror behavior to gain approval. But the silent individual often does something different. They do not rush to mirror. They do not rush to adapt. They remain steady. And steadiness creates contrast. Contrast creates attention. When everyone moves quickly, the slowest movement becomes noticeable. When everyone speaks loudly, the calm voice becomes magnetic. When everyone competes for attention, the one who does not compete appears above the competition. This is the gravity effect. Gravity does not chase objects. Objects move toward gravity. High-status individuals do not chase attention. Attention moves toward them, because humans are drawn to stability. In chaotic environments, the calmest person appears strongest. In emotional conversations, the most controlled person appears dominant. In conflict, the one who reacts last appears in control. Silence allows you to choose when to speak, and timing shapes impact. If you speak less, each sentence carries more weight. If you pause before responding, your words feel calculated. If you remain still while others react, you appear composed. And composure is rare. Most people are reactive. Very few are deliberate. Deliberate behavior signals hierarchy. Hierarchy signals power. Power does not scream. Power does not argue endlessly. Power does not chase validation. Power waits. Power observes. Power decides when to move. And when it moves precisely. Silence is not about being quiet. It is about being unshaken. And the unshaken individual reshapes the room without raising their voice. The highest form of dominance is not control through force. It is control through stability, and stability lives in silence. If you can master silence, you no longer need to prove yourself, and when you no longer need to prove yourself, others assume you already have.